go back into more details, I would like to invite Mr. Bakul Kala, who is the Vice President, Public Relations, Corporate Communication at GoAir, Bombay Realty, Bombay Dyeing. He's a seasoned communications professional with over 25 years of experience and expertise in marketing, communications, public relations, investor relations, corporate communications, crisis communications, social, digital, and traditional media management, content and event management. An expert in cross-border vernacular communication, Mr. Gala has successfully executed PR campaigns in 18 countries, including India, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Bahrain, Qatar, Singapore, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Egypt, Germany, United Kingdom, Maldives, Kuwait, Thailand, and now in Sri Lanka. As a PR professional, he has provided consulting service to marked brands such as GoAir, Cathay Pacific, Qatar Airways, Air Arabia, Siemens, IBM, Toshiba India, Nasser, ABN AMRO, Dubai Islamic Bank, Dubai Financial Market, Abraj Capital, UTI Mutual Fund, Seat Tires, Bajaj Auto, Bajaj Electricals, Airtel, HDFC Bank, HDFC Agro, Fortis, Angel Broking, and Lafarge. In his current role, Mr. Gala oversees both internal and external communications for GoAir, Bombay Realty, Bombay Dyeing. He is responsible for the development of communication strategies and contributes to the strategic planning process of all three brands. In addition, he's also handled crisis communications for all three brands. Mr. Bakul has completed his BCom and MBA from Amravati University. He is a guest lecturer at top management institutes such as IIM Ahmedabad and Universal Business School, Harvard and Wilson College in Mumbai. I would like to invite Mr. Gala to take over and explain details about the airline and our operations.
Thank you, Chaminda, for this lovely introduction. Ladies and gentlemen and members from the press, good evening and welcome. We are very delighted to be here in Colombo, Sri Lanka. It's so nice to meet my media friends. I've been a journalist for almost 15 years in India, and I had never imagined that I would meet up with my fellow journalist friends. The Wadia Group is a 283-year-old group in India. It is one of the oldest groups in India. I have done a little bit of search, but I couldn't find any other group which is as old as the Wadia Group. The Wadia Group straddles across many industries and sectors. Within the Wadia Group family, we have the 140-year-old Bombay Dyeing as a company, which is into textiles and which is also into manufacturing of PSF, which is the polyester staple fiber. We also have a 156-year-old Bombay Burma. Rather, that's the oldest one, I must say. Bombay Burma is the second oldest listed company on the Bombay Stock Exchange. So we are very proud that Bombay Burma is part of the Wadia Group. Bombay Burma is into trading of goods, so we are a star trading house. We also have a 101-year-old Britannia Industries, which is into FMCG, we call it, but it is into bakery, cookies, and dairy products. We also have within the group the 65-year-old National Peroxide Limited, which is into chemicals. And then we have Bombay Realty, which is a real estate business of the group. And then there are half a dozen more companies. All of these group companies sum up to a $5.5 billion business conglomerate. the GoAir, the aviation business, is the, I mean, when I look at all of the sister companies, to me, GoAir looks like a very nascent and a very newborn baby. Of course, GoAir is 14 years old, but in the context of 283 years, 14 years is like a small baby out there. More about GoAir will be spoken by Ruchika, my colleague. Before we start on with the AV to be played, so I'll request the MC to play that later. But let me introduce Ruchika, who's sitting on my left at dais. Ruchika has more than 25 years of experience, and she's part of the top management at GoAir. Ruchika also has I need the profile of Ruchika with me, please, if I can quickly. And then Ruchika has recently joined us from Jet Airways, where she was the head of India and SARC for sales. And then she's completed 25 years, yes, but her role at GoAir is the All India head for sales, also the head of sales for international markets. Yeah, thank you. So that I don't miss out, Ruchika, anything? She brings her expertise in providing sales leadership in a very highly competitive market. We must all acknowledge that aviation is a very competitive market, and to perform in such competitive environment where your peer groups are also out there for sales, Ruchika does a marvelous job. She has demonstrated her tenacity in building new business, new revenue streams, looking at which are the markets where GoAir should be, and her contribution has led GoAir to come to Colombo through her insights. Prior to joining GoAir, she has spent 25 years, as I said, in Jet Airways, but she's also been acknowledged at Jet Airways as a person who is a team leader, also a person who would take leave no stone unturned to get the revenues in. So over to you, Ruchika. But before that, can I ask a computer to play the GoAir AV?
Yes, of course, and we will have that visual right now for you to get some more insights into GoAir. Mr. Bakul Kala would now introduce Ms. Ruchika Singh to take us forward.
So, Ruchika, over to you.
Wasn't that really just beautiful? Makes you feel like jumping onto the next aircraft and taking a flight to one of our destinations. Please do that. Good evening, our friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, dignitaries present here. It's my proud privilege to be here this evening to announce the launch of GoAir flights to and from Sri Lanka, connecting Colombo with Delhi and Bangalore. Just a brief insight into our journey, as Bakul mentioned, we are just 14 years old, having started our journey in 2005. Our fleet comprises of state-of-the-art Airbus 320 aircraft. At present, we operate over 320 daily flights across 35 destinations in India and overseas. In the last 2 years, GoAir has doubled its fleet from 25 aircraft to 54 aircraft, added over 100 plus flights, launched 7 international and 4 domestic destinations in the calendar year 2019. GoAir is a low-cost carrier from India, a part of the 283-year-old Wadia Group, as Bakul mentioned. Known as the smart people's choice, our tagline is Fly Smart. We work on 3 basic principles of punctuality, affordability, and convenience. Over the years, we've been endorsed by multiple awards and recognitions. Our achievements have been acknowledged at various forums. One of the achievements which no other airline in India has achieved so far has been on-time performance for 15 straight months through November 2019, as acknowledged by the Director General of Civil Aviation in India. Not just in India, but even in overseas markets, we've been acknowledged. For example, by Cirium, an internationally recognized authority on ascertaining on-time performance of airlines, has acknowledged GoAir as one of the top airlines in Asia Pacific region. There are various awards and accolades that we've won over the years, starting from Best Brands, the National Pride of India, being rated 4 out of 4 by Apex, US-based organization. So our endeavors over the years have been endorsed by all these awards and accolades coming our way. We also, as a low-cost carrier, have the highest load factors, lowest number of cancellations, and lowest number of complaints. GoAir stepped into the international market in 2018 with launch of flights to Phuket, followed by Malé, Abu Dhabi, Muscat, Dubai, thereafter to destinations like Bangkok, Kuwait, Dammam, and now Colombo. When we started our international operations, Sri Lanka was very much a part of our growth plan. The trade and investment environment between Sri Lanka and India has seen an exponential improvement over the recent years, especially in areas of education, culture, defense, and tourism. Sri Lanka is an important destination in South Asia known for attracting both business and leisure tourists. And GoAir has a desire to cater to those segments by providing punctual, affordable, and convenient operations. When our guests from Sri Lanka come into India, we have lots to offer. If you come into Delhi, you can explore the monuments, the history in Delhi by exploring monuments like the Red Fort, Jantar Mantar, Humayun's Tomb. And if you're a food lover like me, then Delhi has again a lot to offer in terms of multi-cuisine, which is absolutely delectable. If you want to do a short getaway from Delhi, you can go and visit the world-famous Taj Mahal at Agra, or see the Himalayas from Uttarakhand or Himachal Pradesh. Similarly, guests flying into Bangalore can explore historical monuments, visit the Bangalore Palace, amongst other interesting destinations. Can also again take a short tour to go out to beautiful cities like Coorg or Mysore or Nandi Hills. So there is something for everyone when you visit these two cities. For all those people interested in the Buddhist circuit, we also have flights to Varanasi and to Patna connecting Delhi and Bangalore. So you can go and visit all those places as well. As GoAir takes these steps into more destinations, both domestic and internationally, we also endeavor to partner with the best in the industry. And it's my privilege to say that in Sri Lanka, we've partnered with the best, your very own 150-year-old Aitken Spence Group, with interest in various verticals and an internationally known brand. So it's my proud privilege, once again, ladies and gentlemen, to be with you here this evening. Look forward to interacting with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ruchika Singh, the Vice President Sales GoAir, for those lovely and insightful comments on how to fly smart with GoAir. We would now like to invite Dr. Rohan Fernando, Executive Director, Aitken Spence PLC, Head of Group Business Development and Sustainability, who was instrumental in this partnership between GoAir and Royal Spence Aviation, to say a few words on this momentous occasion.
A very good evening to all of you. Our distinguished colleagues from GoAir, Ms. Ruchika Singh and Mr. Bakur Gala, my colleagues from Aitken Spence PLC, distinguished members of the press who have taken the trouble to be with us this evening, ladies and gentlemen. India seems to be giving us so many gifts. It was over 2000 years ago that Buddhism was brought to this nation. Thereafter, I recall how Muhammad Azaruddin paved the way for Arjuna Ranatunga and Sri Lanka to win the World Cup by agreeing to play in Sri Lanka when the Australians and the English refused to play. We also had the Cinema Shastri Pact, which paved the way for stronger ties with Sri Lanka. It's also not a surprise that His Excellency the President and the Prime Minister, Honorable Mahinda Rajapaksa, should visit India soon after taking office. This shows the close ties that Sri Lanka has and still maintains and values with India. You know, Aitken Spence is a company that has thrived on partnerships. Just one great partnership with the right people can have an incredible impact on your business success. It was a little over 150 years ago, purely by a handshake by an Englishman and a Scotsman, paved the way for Aitken Spence to be what it is today. And I was a bit taken aback when I realized that we thought Aitken Spence was one of the oldest companies in this part of the world. And when I found that the GoAir group and the Wadia group is 283 years young, I would say. And we at Aitken Spence is no doubt privileged and honored to be in this partnership today. And as my friend here said, it's a great honor for me personally to have been instrumental in, placing those little seeds sometime in 2019 and to what it has come to today. So from my chairman, my managing director and deputy chairman, and the chairperson of the leisure group, a big thank you to all those from GoAir who made this possible, who had the courage and the confidence to work with Aitken Spence. And I'm sure that our cultures will meet, and this will only be the beginning of a greater partnership. Aitken Spence has been a pioneer in so many things. Not to be boastful, but today we boast of the first ever waste to energy project which will hopefully solve the garbage problem in Colombo. It's almost $100 million investment. We also built Kandalama, the first iconic hotel, and more recently built the first ever 7-star resort in the Maldives. So we do things differently, and I'm proud and happy to say that we work with the best. Our partners globally are DEG, the German bank, Caterpillar, Hapag-Lloyd, Western Union, and so many other well-known international brands. And this company, as I told you earlier, we are what we are today because of our partners. And we have absolutely no doubt that this partnership which we begin today, which with GoAir, will see greater and greater heights, and we will grow together and show how partnerships are made of. Already I can see that our cultures and the chemistry meets each other. And that is what is most important and noteworthy in a partnership. It's not the agreement, it's not anything else, but just the chemistry of the people who operate the business match and meet the goals of both companies. So having said that, I must thank our side, all those from Royal Spence, Chaminda in particular, and my friend Nalin and Tikiri, and everybody else from the Aitken Spence side who have made this historic day possible. No event of this nature is complete without the distinguished members of the press. And we are deeply honored and deeply grateful for your presence. We see very many well-known personalities from the press in Sri Lanka being here with us, spending this valuable evening. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure and I have no doubt that we will see this partnership growing from strength to strength, and I personally wish both sides of the partnership all the very best and God's blessings in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rohan Fernando, for those warm words reminding all of us about the history and success of all our partnerships at Aitken Spence and the latest with GoAir, which will no doubt be taken forward to greater heights. We would now have a symbolic photo opportunity for all ladies and gentlemen of the press to make use of. To symbolize this strategic partnership, we would have the exchange of documents between GoAir and Royal Spence Aviation, and for that we would like to invite Mr. Ruchika Singh and Dr. Rohan Fernando. Thank you, and please make use of this opportunity. Thank you very much for that symbolic gesture. And ladies and gentlemen of the press, you now have another press moment to signify the symbolic partnership. And for that, may we invite Ms. Ruchika Singh, Mr. Bakul Gala from GoAir, Dr. Rohan Fernando and Mr. Chaminda Silva from Aitken Spence, Royal Spence Aviation, and to join them in front of the head table, Mr. Muralidas Menon, Regional General Manager, GoAir, Ms. Ankita Mohanty, Assistant Manager, Corporate Communications and PR GoAir, and Mr. Sankar Jaya, Head of Sales and Marketing from the GSA Royal Spence Aviation, to please come forward in front of the head table for the photograph. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your moment. Yes, for the Q&A. Thank you very much. We trust you got plenty of special moments from that. Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is now open for the question and answer Q&A session. You may direct your questions to the head table. There is a mic which is available to be passed around. So to take this discussion forward, we have GoAir and Royal Spence Aviation. Over to you. Could you please repeat?
Are you looking at operating to Mattala and Jaffna in the future?
Can you hear me? Yes. So at GoAir, we are constantly evaluating routes to see if it is, first if there is an affinity between the places, if there is a market density. And based on those evaluations, we decide on routes. So to answer your questions, we are in the process of evaluating all possible opportunities, but we don't have a concrete plan to operate to these airports as of now.
Do you all have the freedom right from here to fly to another country, or is it just India and Colombo at the moment?
At the moment, it's India and Colombo.
You all are not operating to Bangladesh currently, right? No.
Not at this point in time, but like I said, that we continuously evaluate routes, and that is definitely on the cards in the near future.
So if you take the SAARC country, Sri Lanka is the first SAARC country.
It's the first country that we started on. We have Maldives, other than Maldives, yes.
And just one more thing about the fares. It's a low cost, that is, you pay for your luggage, right? You only hand luggage.
So the model that we
So all the fares which are offered out of Colombo will be baggage will be added.
Please make use of this opportunity to get further insights from the GoAir and Royal Spence Aviation team.
all our aircraft at GoAir are Airbus A320. We have a configuration of the older engine, which is the CEO, and the new ones, which is NEO, N-E-O. The company has placed an order of 144 Airbus A320 NEOs. we will be expecting on an average 1 aircraft every month for the next foreseeable future, let's say 7 to 8 years from now. So that's the order book from the airline for the new aircraft.
So, seat configurations, you have a business class, right? You have a business class or no?
We do have a business class, but it is not the full business class the way it is in other airlines. This is the LCC model. So the first 2 rows are the business class. In this business class, the window and the aisle seat are available. The middle seat is not available, which means that as a passenger you get a separate seat for yourself. Your elbows will not collide with the others. You do get all the other privileges of a business class. That includes meal, that includes priority check-in, that includes lounge access, that includes newspaper and magazines to read. So it is as good as a business class, but I must tell here, and I must emphasize over here, that it does not have special seats. It does not have a recline, extra recline. It cannot become a full sleeping area, not that kind.
Any more questions?
Sorry? Fare difference. So the Bangalore to Colombo flight, the return ticket, as mentioned in the press release, the business class. The business class is usually a set number, it's not a percentage. So you have to, in India, you have to pay 2,000 rupees extra to get into the business class. So that over here, if you translate, it turns out to, let's say, 5,000 LKR. But right now, I don't have the data to give you the exact number. Correct.
It could be a normal economy to business class. It could be a difference of 1.5 to 2x of the price of economy class.
What kind of cabin factors are you expecting on this run to Colombo and Bangalore, and what is the cabin factor you need to break even at these levels prices?
The load factors at GoAir, on average, we have about 80 to 85% load factors in all our markets. However, because this is a new destination that we have launched, the load factors, what we have witnessed right now, because it's already open for sale, so passengers are able to book it. The trend has been very, very encouraging, and I think Ruchika is the one who heads the sale, so I think that one.
So whenever we operate our flights, we do a very comprehensive analysis to understand the market, the density, and what kind of passenger load factors we would have. Our average load factors across the network is 89%, and we expect the ramp up, after the ramp up period, to have 80% loads on this sector as well.
Any further questions? This is your opportunity.
I think your airline had some problems with staff when your expansion took place and the new deliveries came. Are they sorted now? Are you okay with it?
So we don't have any challenges with the staff, but we do have the challenge from Airbus and also from Pratt & Whitney, and we have gone on the record and said that the delivery schedule given to us by Pratt & Whitney as well as by Airbus has been delayed in the last quarter, due to which our ramp up of expansion is delayed by that much time, and we await the deliveries from Airbus. We've been told as of last week that Pratt & Whitney has managed to get the required engines that we need. So we are in a very comfortable position right now.
Any more clarifications? Since there are no further questions, we would now wrap up this session. However, our spokespersons would be available after the event for further comments if you require. Thank you very much for that. And we would now like to call upon Mr. Murugdas Menon, Regional General Manager, Sales GoAir, to deliver the vote of thanks. Mr. Menon, over to you.
Thank you, Dilmani. Good evening, everyone. It's a privileged moment also to deliver a vote of thanks. And the association with this country, personally for me, the second time. I never expected that I can represent this country on behalf of sales for a GoAir. So I'm very, very privileged and I'm happy to be part of this growth story and represent GoAir on behalf of Sri Lanka. I thank the lovely media of Sri Lanka for making it for the press conference today. I also take this opportunity to express my highest gratitude to the number of individuals and organizations that have helped GoAir in this endeavor. On behalf of GoAir, I thank the government of Sri Lanka. I also thank the Civil Aviation Authority of Sri Lanka for their deepest support. And I also thank the Bandaranaike International Airport authorities and staff and management who have been really helping us to get the slots approved on time. And we have been exchanging conversation how soon we can have this new destinations in our network map. And thanks for all the support extended by the airport authorities. So the efforts would be gone unnoticed if I have missed out to thank the great partner we have, the Aitken Spence, for all the support they have been provided all this while. And I would thank Mr. Rohan for that and a couple of other senior officials who have been part of the discussions, and we have been continuously liaising how we take this forward and what time and how to make this more a memorable one for us. Last but not the least, I must thank our good friend Chaminda, who have been communicating with me personally, with Bakul, with all the people, or Ruchika, day in and out, to see how we can do this, what about the market, and I'm sure you know that when we do these things, and he was our whole full-time 24/7 point of contact. So thanks, Chaminda, and once again, thank you all. Thanks for all, and thanks for coming here tonight and gracing this occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Menon, for those warm words of appreciation. We would now like to call upon Mr. Chaminda Silva to deliver some closing remarks.
So GoAir sale is now on. We are live on our website goair.in, and you can purchase tickets online. You can purchase through the GoAir mobile app and through our airport operations once the services starts. And of course through your preferred travel agent. And we have our own office down here. The GSA is based on the ground floor at Aitken Spence, so you can purchase the tickets through any one of these means. So the special fares again, as you can see, to Delhi at 35,600 and 24,900 to Bangalore. We basically operate to Delhi other than Wednesday on all the other days, and to Bangalore other than Tuesday all the other days as of now. The flights are online, so tickets can be purchased.